Now, people with their stupid tariffs hating behinds are like, yeah, Trump's tariffs are stupid, not going to work. And how's this playing out? New inflation numbers crush Democrats' narrative about Trump's tariff strategy. Lowest inflation we've had in years. That's good. It's called a stabilization of the economy. Democrats and their media cheerleaders have been wailing for months that President Donald Trump's tariff policies would ignite a wildfire of inflation, scorching American wallets. Yes, we are with fresh inflation numbers that slap their fear-mongering narrative right across their stupid little face. The latest consumer price index data shows inflation cooling down, not spiking, despite all the hand-wringing from the left. What a glorious day for truth. Let's set the stage. Let the left paint Trump's tariffs as economic Armageddon. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer himself warned they'd jack up prices by as much as $1,200 a year for families. Oh, but the drama. They clutched their pearls. They predicted grocery bills soaring and gas pumps bleeding, consumers dry. It was a horror story, so they meant to terrify voters. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted the American public to... They're trying to lower Trump's poll numbers. You know, they want to see disapproval rates. And... we have and since that's happened, it's been a little bit of a wonky ride, but the less fear factor is running out every day, warning tariffs, deportations, tax cuts, and was supposed to tank the economy. Yet here we are with the inflation tamed and growth holding steady. We've got major trade deals that have been popping off. Just absolutely amazing, wonderful things now because we've actually decided to take hold of the economy that America 90% of the time has a big stronghold on, and we've been getting hosed for a long time. And I got other great news too, by the way. I got news. Let's with the AOC thing. This is wild. These Democrats are getting they're getting desperate and getting really far out of hand. Check this out.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem. Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally...
Real quickly, as I kind of interrupt what she's saying, the person that was arrested, by the way, was a mayor, not a member of Congress, just to kind of clarify how that all went down. And by the way, members of Congress tried to access the detention facility where January 6th people were being held, and they were not allowed. There's crickets now. Lefties that hate watching my video. I don't care what the circumstances were. There were members of Congress who wanted to access the jail, and they were not allowed to. They were not allowed to see any of the prisoners. They were not allowed to interview any of the prisoners. They were not allowed to talk to anybody. They were not allowed even in the doors. They weren't even allowed barely to stand outside the place. Members of Congress, not mayors. Pretty wild how that works out. So, I guess this is where we're at as far as see what we can get where we're going to head with this. Where are we going with this? Alina Habba was issued a warning from a magistrate judge who magistrate issues warning to U.S. Attorney Alina Habba and ICE after arrest of Newark mayor. Mayor, like I said, not a member of Congress. This is where we're at. This is how brazen these Democrats are. This is what we're working with. This is why You've got all these Republicans who want to say, well, let's not, we don't want to make waves. We don't want to, set precedent for that kind of behavior. So let's be on the up and up. Let's be the better people in the crowd. Let's be the more, better ones. I'm sorry, guys, but I think being the nice guy is going to have us finishing last. you know, I'm just looking at how this is all going to roll out, when it comes to what they're doing in states with Supreme Court justices at the state level, with the installation of all these Supreme Court justices who are then going to be in charge of a lot of really important rules when it comes to the way that people vote, which means that just like I said, North Carolina alone, they weren't allowed. They were even with the GOP led justice system, they weren't even able to try to get real voter rights in place, which then meant that questionable ballots that were brought in and counted weeks after an election to give another Democrat judge the win is now set in stone. And I don't know how North Carolina is going to recover from that, because you can be as red as you want to be. You can be California red, which California is a for the most part, except for small little areas, is a red state. And I'm only talking to this not off subject because I'm just letting people know that it looks like, we got Trump in, barely. And they seen what happened. That means they're going to have to do this a lot more intricately. They're going to fortify and then put in place the most organized voter fraud team in 2028 that they superseded in 2020. And they're going to do this legally because they're going to have crooked judges and that bend and twist the law for their benefit so that they can win and keep in power. Because you've got to remember, these globalists that have been running the world for so long aren't about to give up. They've made it this far. They understand the pushback was going to be imminent at some point. This isn't anything out of ordinary for part of their plans. So for us to sit back and let this happen, this just in North Carolina alone, with what we've seen with those Supreme Court justices allowing that woman to win, because technically the way the rules are set up, she kind of did win, because they didn't have the right laws in place. And whenever these mail-in ballots were counted 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the election until they got a number they wanted, weren't allowed to be thrown out. Believe you me, us wearing these kid gloves is going to be the demise of this country. I think at this point it's acceptable to pull out any means necessary, whether it's ethical or not. Not illegal, but ethical. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look good on paper, if it doesn't look good in the public's eye, we need to do it. We need to do it fast, and we need to do it hard. We need to do it rough. But like I say, the Democrats are the left itself is just like I say, I don't know. When I say we are relying on a spineless, weak organization called the Republican Party who won't do anything, who won't do, they just, our Department of Justice is a D at the most. So, are these words futile? I don't know. I don't want to blackpill you guys, but something's got to give. Tom Tillis, you suck. If you can hear this video, go stuff your head in the commode and flush it. Yeah. I see what's going on out there, but these people are brazen, and they're willing to pull out all the stops because, like I say, releasing power at this point is not going to be a thing. We're going to have to snatch that wand out of their hand, and then when we get out of the hand, we're going to have to politically beat them over the head with it, then send them to a country that they want to go, because to me, these people aren't American. They're treasonous rat bastards, and they've got to go somewhere. They need to go somewhere. We don't have any more places to send them. Maybe we can use that earthquake machine and break the rest of California off, drop those people on it, and send them on their merry way. Let them conjoin to China. Let's see how they like that. I'm just saying this is really nasty. You're getting really nasty out here. And if anything, at this point in time, don't stop with the deportations. Double down. That's what we need to do. All right, guys. Thank you for watching.